What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, fourth stimulus check update, and daily news. The IRS and the White House announces that 25 million payments went out today. Well, actually, I should say between this weekend and today. Let me know if you got your $1,400 third stimulus check payment today, if you got it over the weekend, as the vast majority of Social Security will have or has now received their $1,400 per person third stimulus check, with the now fourth stimulus check on the way. So, very good news. Let me know if you did. If you haven't received it yet, it's very likely that you're receiving a paper check or a debit card in the mail. And really, the latest news on that is number one, check the IRS Get My Payment. So if you haven't gotten your payment at all, it's very likely it's going to come through the mail now at this point, unless you're with the VA. If you're with the Veterans Affairs, they haven't sent out the checks yet for the majority of the VA. And this is the same issue with Social Security, is that the VA had to send over the payment information for people who haven't filed a tax return for 2020 or 2019. And same thing with Social Security. So Social Security had to send that information over to the IRS. Same thing with the VA. They had to send it over to the IRS as well. And the VA was actually slower than Social Security sending over that information. So it's not that the government hates you or anything like that. I know it's unfortunate that Social Security and the VA were the last two batches for the major rounds that were going out. But it's just that the VA and the Social Security had to send out information for millions of people, you guys, our extended family, and unfortunately, that just took them some time. Social Security was actually, and this is surprising, was actually a little bit faster than the VA. And Social Security took a lot of criticism for that. People were calling for the Social Security Commissioner Andrew Saul and his deputy commissioner Black to be fired over that. I haven't seen any recent information on that. But the VA was actually slower than Social Security sending that over. So the current information from the IRS is that they hope to send out the VA payments in mid-April. So I will keep you up to date. Let's hope that it's next Wednesday, as the IRS has been for the last four waves of direct deposit. They have sent them out on Fridays, and some banks release them immediately, and then some banks they penned until Wednesday, which is today, which is now the clearing of this round of stimulus checks. It is possible it could still clear throughout the day up until 5 p.m. So check your bank accounts. But if you haven't received your stimulus check and it's coming through the mail, the most recent information I'm seeing, and I'm also seeing from you guys down below in the comments, is it's taking a full 7 to 10 days minimum to receive your paper check in the mail. So I don't know if they're not going out right away. So for example, if your date set April 1st, from the IRS Get My Payment tool, the absolute earliest it looks like you can expect it is the 7th through the 10th, possibly longer. So I'm getting a lot of questions about paper checks, and it's just that it just takes 7 to 10 days minimum to get it to you, whether it's the mail or it takes them a few days to send it out and then it's a few days for the mail, or if the mail's taken the full 7 to 10 days. It's really hard to know. But yeah, don't expect if the paper check within the next few days, if from your IRS Get My Payment tool. We learned a brand new trick in the last few days, and this will help for the fourth round, the fourth stimulus check coming out. That the IRS Get My Payment tool, if you go in there and you put your information in and you get like status unavailable or information unknown, that I just itched my neck here, and you can see how it's all red. I'll get comments saying, "Jimmy, you got a hickey," and it's just, yeah. Whenever I itch myself, I don't know. I get all red when I get excited here, and I talk to you guys, and I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, we learned a new trick in the last few days that you can go into the IRS Get My Payment tool if it's not working, if it's not showing you information. The number one trick that I've been seeing, and had a lot of comments from you guys saying that wow, that worked, is to put your address in all capitals. So if you're getting status unknown or information unavailable or something like that, Go to the IRS Get My Payment tool after this video and put your address in all capitals and see if that returns the information. The other couple things I've been seeing is that you might have a different address that your check gets sent to. I've seen some comments that said they had to put their PO box in as the address, and then the information came back. So that was good to know. The other thing is that you might have to put your address in the wording of the way the IRS sends you mail. So you may have to go find your last statement from the IRS and put the address in and type it the way they did. So instead of drive, you may have to put DR, or street, you may have to abbreviate it, or maybe they have it slightly misspelled or something like that. And the mail still gets through, but you might need to put it in the exact way the IRS puts it through. The other thing I need to really make you clear of, if you didn't get your stimulus check yet, it's possible that it's on a debit card. So I've seen some comments from some people saying that their stimulus check was on a Jackson Hewitt debit card that Jackson Hewitt gave them. And I know that this can happen for TurboTax and Tax Act and other type of users. If you have a debit card from that company, it's possible that your stimulus check went to that debit card. Okay. So yeah, if you have one of those debit cards, go check the balance on that and then come back and let our viewers know if your stimulus check was on there, because it could have been sitting on there for days and you just didn't know about it. And also, please be very aware that over 1 million people have thrown away their stimulus checks from the past. That was sent to them in the mail, and they threw it away thinking it was junk mail, or didn't know what it was and didn't open it and thrown it away. So yeah, that's unfortunate. If you haven't got your first or second stimulus check yet, you're very likely going to need to get that through filing a tax return and claiming that on line 30. On line 30, you put the amount that is owed to you. The IRS has said that they are going to be sending up some plus up payments. So if you did file a tax return, say you just filed your 2020 tax return, and the IRS now got your information and determined through through the computers, everything's done by computers now. They don't have a person going through each individual tax return like they used to back in the past. But the computer determined that they owe you additional money for either refund or a tax return. They can actually send you what they're calling a stimulus plus up payment. So say you got a partial stimulus check from your 2019 tax return, but your 2020 tax return, you had less income and now you're qualified for a full stimulus check. They can actually send you an additional stimulus check or deposit, what they're calling a plus up deposit. So you could get that. If you had a new child that was claimed and now the IRS knows about them because you filed a tax return, they can send you a check for that. So please watch the mail as always for that, because you could be getting a plus up check. But besides those couple reasons, if you haven't gotten the first or second stimulus check, it's very likely you're going to need to claim them by doing a tax return. So do a 2020 tax return. You can Google IRS Free File and do it completely for free on that. I know that saved a lot of you guys a lot of money. You don't have to go to an accountant or anything like that. You can go directly on the IRS website and just follow the steps, do a free file. And on line 30, put the money that the IRS owes you for any stimulus checks or any money outstanding, except for stimulus check number 3. Because stimulus check number 3 is for 2021. It's this year. So that will not go if you don't end up getting it when all is said and done. It's way too early to do this, but you will have to file a 2021 tax return and get it next year. Okay, like I said, it's way too early for that. I'll be walking you through any new information that comes out. Check the IRS Get My Payment tool if you haven't gotten it, and I'll keep you up to date with what I see coming around for people that haven't gotten it, the VA, paper checks, and any new information I see regarding third stimulus check. Regarding fourth stimulus check and the fourth round of stimulus, where there's really a lot more things on the horizon besides just a stimulus check, Representative Jayapal sends out a tweet yesterday. In a crisis like this, we need to give struggling people all the support they need. $2,000 checks every month until this crisis is over. She retweets a article from CNBC that says 24% of unemployed workers have been jobless for over a year. So again, this was just from yesterday, and we continue to see the push from different lawmakers in both the House of Representatives and the Senate for fourth stimulus checks. And the most common proposal we're seeing are these push for stimulus checks every month. $2,000 stimulus checks every month. What's interesting is coming from Jayapal here is it looks like she's somewhat changed her proposal to this $2,000 per month. She had the first proposal here, as you can see right here. This was the first bill introduced March 24th, so now 2 weeks ago at this point, where her and Rashida Tlaib introduced a bill for a one-time $2,000 stimulus checks, then followed by $1,000 recurring monthly payments that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. The pandemic could be declared official. It has to be officially declared over. And I doubt that will happen this year. I think at the earliest it will happen will be maybe the end of this year. So this proposal here would be for a one-time $2,000 stimulus check and then $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks until a year after the pandemic. The bill that seems to be getting a lot more push right now and a lot more support is this one from Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren are pushing President Biden for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks. So this is the one that kind of seems to be getting more and more support. As you can see here, nearly 24 U.S. senators now want the federal government to send recurring monthly stimulus checks to tens of millions of Americans during the duration of this pandemic. In a letter led by Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon and including Massachusetts Democrat Senator Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren, 21 lawmakers on Tuesday pressed President Biden to include monthly stimulus checks and automatic unemployment extensions to unemployment insurance in this next package, the infrastructure package, which, when all is said and done, is expected to be up to $4 trillion. The Senate parliamentarian ruled in favor of the Democrats that they can pass 2 more stimulus packages this year with the reconciliation process, which means that the Democrats can pass the next stimulus package, infrastructure/stimulus package, completely on their own, and they don't need the support of Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in the Senate. They can pass the bill completely on their own at least 2 more times until October, and then can do it again for the next year after that. So basically, there's multiple stimulus packages and infrastructure/stimulus packages that can be passed in the near future, ASAP, as soon as they want to. And they can include all these different rounds of stimulus included in this next bill, and they can pass it completely on their own. All the Democrats have to do is negotiate between themselves. They only have to negotiate among themselves and don't have to negotiate with the Republicans. There's a lot of other things that could be on the horizon for the 4th round of stimulus, including this. Here is Senator Bernie Sanders with the most recent interview.
You and Elizabeth Warren and other progressive lawmakers were the subject of trolling by an Amazon PR Twitter account last week. Apparently, it's been reported that Jeff Bezos himself was upset that company officials weren't defending Amazon enough from your criticisms. He's also refused your invitation to testify in front of the Senate. I wonder, how much do you think representative democracy in this country is threatened by the power of a single citizen who is worth $180 billion?
I think it's a serious problem. When we talk about income and wealth inequality, it's not just that 2 people, Bezos being one of them, own more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. That is wrong unto itself. But I think we forget the kind of power that these individuals have. Bezos owns the Washington Post. You have large corporations who have thousands of lobbyists all over Washington, D.C., former leaders of the Democratic and Republican Party. They make incredible campaign contributions. So when we talk about the need to create a vibrant democracy, it means taking on income and wealth inequality, bringing power back to ordinary people through campaign finance reform, through ending gerrymandering, to ending the suppression of voters. And when I was down in Birmingham talking to the workers, what you heard is tales of incredibly bad working conditions, people who are disrespected, people whose concerns are not being heard. and they want a union to represent them. So obviously, if they win that union organizing drive, and I hope that they do, it will not only be important for Amazon workers in Birmingham, I think it will spread all over this country to other Amazon warehouses, and I think it will be a shot in the arm for union organizing all across this country. It is no great secret that wages for workers have been stagnant for decades now. Rich are getting richer. Many workers are working longer hours for low wages. We got to grow the union movement. And if we are successful in Birmingham, I think it will have an impact on union organizing around the country.
So the Democrats are continuing to try to push to increase minimum wage as well. That's one thing the Senate parliamentarian ruled against them in the last stimulus package. That is something we could see on the horizon in the near future as they're trying to find ways to raise the minimum wage. I think they're likely going to have to raise it to around $10 an hour, which is what the Republican counterproposal can do. I think they can pass it at around $10 an hour, 10 or 11. But a lot of Republicans, or I'm sorry, a lot of Democrats actually find that a loss. They consider that not a win to raise it, which in my opinion, that's a 50% raise over the $7.25 that is right now. What I would do is just take the 50% raise from 7.25 to 10 or $11 an hour, get that passed, let that sink in for a year or two, then maybe try to raise it again if you think it's still not enough. But I would take that small victory. You can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. In a surprising news, we just heard Bernie Sanders criticizing Jeff Bezos for being so rich. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and the owner, I can't say the owner of Amazon, but the founder of Amazon, he backs the corporate tax rate increase by President Biden to raise it from 21% to 28% in the new infrastructure slash stimulus package. He actually comes out in support of it and said that he's for them raising the corporate tax rate by 7%. So it was very interesting to see him say that because, Amazon is the largest company in the world, or one of the two largest companies worth the most money in the United States. And while it's surprising that he would say he's for corporate tax raise and for them paying their own fair share. As you can see here, Amazon.com chief executive Jeff Bezos said he supports a rise in the corporate tax rate and support President Biden's focus on major U.S. infrastructure. He says, quote, "We recognize this investment will require concessions from all sides, both on the specifics of what's included as well as how it gets paid for," Mr. Bezos wrote. He said Amazon was, quote, "supportive of a rise in the corporate tax rate," and said the company looked forward to seeing the U.S. government's progress on the plan. Mr. Biden's plan would also impose a minimum tax on profitable corporations. Had the minimum tax he proposed been in place for 2020, Amazon's cash taxes would have been about double what it reported. And what's interesting, in an article by the Washington Post, who is owned by Jeff Bezos, what did we just see Bernie Sanders say that? It's very interesting. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and yet in this article this is from a few years ago, Amazon paid $0 in federal taxes in $11.2 billion in profits from 2000, what is this, for 2018 or 2019? Not really important, but Amazon has gotten away with paying $0 in federal taxes for many, many years, and it's tax loopholes. It's not that they're doing anything illegal. It's just the way the tax code is written, and that's why President Biden wants to put a minimum tax rate so that if you make $11 billion in profits, you're not paying $0 in federal tax, and that they can use that money to pay for infrastructure and other things for our economy. So let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. I'll keep you up to date on everything regarding some news on third stimulus check, what might come through here, but now mostly fourth stimulus check, the fourth round of stimulus, student loan forgiveness, Social Security increases, the monthly recurring stimulus checks that they're pushing for in the next stimulus package. Maybe worst case scenario, we just get a single stimulus check in the next package and they negotiate that down. Best case scenario, we do see those monthly recurring stimulus checks maybe until the pandemic is over, along with all the other things on the horizon, the expansion of Medicare, extra Medicare benefits, the home buyer tax benefits, and the expansion of the child income tax credits. If you have children, they just passed the child income tax credit for the third stimulus package. That's $3,000 to $3,600 in your pocket. And the IRS is trying to set up a payment plan or a portal to pay you this monthly. So they're looking to expand that for more than just 1 year. That if you have children, that's one of the biggest. It's more than the $1,400 stimulus checks. It's literally double or triple that. So I'll keep you up to date on all of these things in the future if they might expand this for more years. And they also may expand the $10,200 unemployment tax-free income to 2021 as well. Like I said, there's a lot of different things on the horizon for the fourth round of stimulus. So I'll keep you up to date on everything. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos because I cover different things in different videos. So you don't want to miss out on them. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Although you won't get a reminder notification for the 11 p.m. Eastern Time video, you just have to remember to show up at that time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA, where I teach people how to do that and replace their 9-to-5 income. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.